John had worked at the same company for 5 years. He was a good worker, but one day his boss called him into the office. "I'm sorry, John," his boss said. "We have to let you go. The company is cutting costs." John lost his job. Day after day he looked for new work, but no one would hire him. Soon his savings were gone. He had no money left. He could barely buy food for himself. How could he take care of his dog? His dog was named Blackie. Blackie was a black dog with kind eyes. He had been John's best friend for 3 years. Blackie loved John very much. When John felt sad, Blackie would put his head on John's lap. When John came home, Blackie would jump up and down with joy. But now John felt he had no choice. He could not even feed himself. How could he feed Blackie? One cold morning, John made a terrible decision. He put Blackie in his old car. Blackie was excited. He thought they were going for a fun trip. John drove far away from home, 30 kilometers up into the mountains. The road was rough and winding. When they reached a lonely spot, John stopped the car. His heart was heavy, but he thought this was the only way. "I'm sorry, Blackie," John whispered, his voice shaking. "I hope you can find a better life here." Blackie looked at John with confused eyes. He did not understand why John was leaving him. John quickly got back in his car and drove away. In his mirror, he could see Blackie running after the car, barking. But John did not stop. Weeks passed. John felt terrible every day. His small apartment felt empty and quiet. He missed Blackie's warm greeting. He missed their walks in the park. He missed having a friend who loved him no matter what. But what else could he do? He told himself it was better this way. Then one evening, as John sat alone eating cheap noodles, he heard a familiar sound, scratching at his door. His heart stopped. John opened the door slowly. He could not believe his eyes. It was Blackie. The dog was dirty and very thin. His black fur was full of mud and leaves. His paws were cut and bleeding from walking on rocks and rough roads. But his tail was wagging like crazy. His eyes were bright with happiness. He was so excited to see John again. "Blackie, how did you?" John fell to his knees, his mouth open in shock. "You walked 30 kilometers to come home?" Blackie jumped into John's arms and licked his face again and again. The brave dog had never stopped loving him. He had walked for days through mountains and forests. He had been hungry and cold, but he had never given up. He just wanted to come home to John. John started to cry. Tears rolled down his face. First, he was shocked that Blackie had found his way home. Then he felt so moved by Blackie's amazing love and loyalty. Finally, he felt deeply ashamed of what he had done. How could he have abandoned his best friend? "I'm so sorry, boy," John said, hugging Blackie as tight as he could. "I was wrong. I was so wrong. I will never leave you again. Never, never, never." That night, John shared his simple dinner with Blackie. He cleaned Blackie's wounds and gave him fresh water. As they slept together on the small bed, John made a promise. From that day on, John and Blackie stayed together. John worked harder than ever to find a job. He took any work he could find, cleaning offices, delivering food, washing dishes. It was not easy, but they survived together. No matter how hard life got, John would never abandon his loyal friend again. Months later, John finally found a good job. He moved to a bigger apartment with a small yard for Blackie. Every morning, Blackie would walk John to the bus stop. Every evening, he would be waiting when John came home. John learned an important lesson. Sometimes the greatest love comes from those who ask for nothing in return. True friendship means staying together through good times and bad times. Blackie had taught him what loyalty really means.